This happened when I was 13. Back then, my closest friend was Aiden. He was a couple years older, but we clicked easily, mostly because our houses were right next to each other. The neighborhood was filled with older folks, retirees mostly. No other kids, just us. So we made the nights our own. No internet, no smartphones. Just imagination and the kind of games that feel fun until they don't. Our favorite was flashlight hide and seek, but with a twist. The seeker had to keep the flashlight on, always. That was the rule. If you saw someone with a beam, you were out. But the hider could use that glowing beam like a warning sign, staying in the dark, slipping through shadows. It was fun, until the night it wasn't. That night, we pushed the game deeper. Into the woods. Our neighborhood sat right at the edge of a forest. We'd talked about using it for the game before, but only halfway, never far. That time, I wanted a real challenge, so I ran deeper than ever before, past the safe zone, past the streetlights, past the point where my footsteps felt like mine. It got dark. Not nighttime dark, black, like the trees were swallowing the moon. Aiden had the flashlight. I had nothing. Just the cold breath of the forest and the dim, silvery light that barely touched the ground. Every branch felt like it reached for me. Every snap of a twig made me flinch. Then I found it, an old cabin, abandoned, rotting. The door creaked like it hadn't moved in years, but it gave way. I stepped inside. The air felt wrong, thick, stale, like the place had been holding its breath for decades. Inside it was worse. Dust curled in the moonlight like it had been disturbed recently. I could barely see, but I felt stares. I climbed. Them, slow and quiet, one step at a time. Upstairs, a single room with a window. I crouched there, thinking I'd outsmarted Aiden. No way he'd find me now. I waited. Minutes passed. Then, movement. Outside the window, Aiden. But something was off. He wasn't using the flashlight, just his silhouette creeping through the trees. He was cheating. That's what I told myself. He must have turned off the light to stop giving away his position. I watched him get closer and closer until he vanished from my line of sight. Beneath the window. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Inside, crunching on broken wood downstairs. At first I thought it was Aiden, but then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw it. Aiden. Far off. Flashlight now on. Sweeping the woods casually. Still outside. The footsteps? Inside. My blood went cold. Whoever was down there wasn't Aiden. I dropped to the floor. Heart pounding. I crawled under the bed. The footsteps came slowly, creaking each step on the stairs. Not rushed, not searching, just coming. At the top of the stairs they paused. Then, click. A sound so sharp it echoed in my chest. A gun. Heavy boots stepped into the room. Not Aiden's shoes. These were bigger, thicker, like someone used to stomping, not sneaking. They stopped at the door. Didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there. I could hear the silence pressing in from all sides. It wasn't quiet. It was alive. Like the room itself knew I was there. Then, the boots turned and left. I didn't wait. I scrambled out, flung the window open, and jumped, hit the ground hard. Rolled, got up and ran. Branches whipped my face. My lungs burned. Behind me, the crunch of footsteps again, closer. I didn't look back. Ahead, Aiden. Flashlight beam bouncing. He shouted, "I see you. You're out." But I didn't stop. Then he saw my face. He stopped smiling. His eyes shifted, past me. The color drained from his face. He ran. We both ran. No words. Just panic. We made it back. slammed the door shut, locked it, sat on the floor, breathless. Aiden looked at me, wide-eyed. Then he asked, "Who was that man behind you?" My whole body went numb. I told him everything. The cabin, the boots, the sound of the gun. He didn't doubt a word. We told my parents, but we made it sound small, dumb kid stuff, just so they wouldn't freak out. They called the cops anyway. Officers searched the cabin, the woods, the whole area for hours. They found nothing. After that night, we were never allowed near the woods again. And honestly, we didn't argue. You couldn't have paid me to go back, whatever that thing was. It wasn't just some lost guy. We both know what we saw, and we both know we weren't supposed to be there. A few months ago, my wife and I hit our second anniversary. We both managed to get a few days off work and decided we'd do something different, something quiet. Wyoming winters are brutal, but beautiful. So we booked a cabin in the snowy mountains, something out of a postcard. It wasn't the wildest idea, but we figured the cold, the snow, the fireplace, kind of romantic, right? The place belonged to a friend of a friend who gave us a steep discount. Seemed like a great deal, until we got there. The cabin sat in the middle of nowhere, literally. To get to it, you had to drive down a long, narrow private road. No signs, no streetlights, just snow-covered woods pressing in from all sides. The nearest house was probably over a mile away. That part wasn't clear before booking, but once we arrived, the cabin itself was almost too perfect to care. It looked like something off a luxury Instagram account. Wooden beams, soft lights, snow dusted over the roof. Everything dead silent, except the wind in the trees. In a weird way, the isolation was almost comforting. No noise, no distractions, no cell signal either. That night, we curled up by the fire, watched a movie I'd downloaded. Around midnight, we decided to hit the hot tub out on the back porch. That's when I realized I'd left my swim trunks in the car, so I went to get them. The second I stepped outside, I saw them. Boot prints. Fresh. Deep. Too large to be mine. They came out from the forest, walked straight up to the living room window. Not the door, just the window. Then they turned and vanished back into the woods. I stood frozen for a second. No knocking, no sound. Just tracks in the snow, like someone had silently watched us, then disappeared. I went back in and told my wife. She didn't take it well, understandably so. We were surrounded by forest and completely alone. We decided to drive into the nearby town, where we finally got signal, and texted the owner. "Hey, did you or someone else stop by the cabin tonight?" Waited 30 minutes. No response. It was late. We thought maybe we were overreacting. We told ourselves it was probably a hunter or someone lost. We were coming back into town in the morning anyway, so we'd follow up then. Back at the cabin, neither of us wanted to sit in the hot tub anymore. We just went to bed. Then, 3 a.m., I jolted awake. No sound. No nightmare. Just this deep, cold feeling like I wasn't alone. Then I heard it, a soft tap on the bedroom window. Curtains were drawn. I couldn't see anything. I stayed still, tried to brush it off. Maybe a chunk of snow sliding off. The roof, tap again, louder this time, more, deliberate. I sat up, stepped out of bed, and pulled the curtains aside. Nothing. Still, something didn't feel right. So I turned on my phone flashlight to check outside, but the glare bounced off the glass. I had to open the window a bit just to see. That's when I saw them. Fresh boot prints, right beneath the window. Leading into the woods. My heart started to race. I slowly lifted my phone higher, following the trail with the light. And then I saw him. A figure. 10 yards away. Just standing in the snow. Not moving. Not hiding. staring straight at me. I slammed the window shut, heart pounding so hard I could barely breathe. I woke my wife up and told her we had to leave, now. She asked why. I didn't answer. I just told her to pack. Fast. She saw the look on my face and didn't argue. 5 minutes later, we were at the front door, fully packed, hands shaking. I opened the door, snow still falling, silent. We bolted to the car. As I started the engine, my wife gasped and screamed. I looked where she was pointing. He was there. Again, closer, standing next to the cabin, just watching us, not running, not chasing, just waiting. I gunned the gas and tore out of the driveway. We didn't stop driving until the signal bars came back on. We sent the owner a long, shaken-up text explaining everything, every detail, what we saw, where we saw him. Hours later, he responded. He went to the cabin that morning to check it out. He said there were boot prints everywhere, around every single window, no damage. Nothing stolen, just watching. We didn't go back. We spent the rest of our days off at home, keeping all the lights on at night. No one ever followed up. No one ever came forward. We don't know who that figure was, or what he wanted, and honestly, we don't want to know. There's one night I'll never forget. I was about a week away from turning 18. It was one of those warm, heavy summer nights, so quiet it felt like the whole town was asleep except us. It was around 2 a.m. I was with two of my closest friends, Jacob and Stephen. We were hanging out in Stephen's basement, doing stuff we probably shouldn't have been doing at our age. But we got bored fast. The kind of restless late-night boredom that makes you want to go looking for something you shouldn't find. Jacob said he knew a spot, a little hangout deep in the woods next to a lake. Supposedly, other teens went there all the time, especially this late. We grabbed a few half-working flashlights and headed out. It took us a while, hiking through the trees, crunching leaves under our feet, flashlights flickering off the trees, like we were trying to summon something. Eventually, we made it to the lake, but it was dead quiet. No people, no fire pit. No signs of anyone, just us, and the dark water breathing against the shore. Jacob swore it was usually packed. We didn't feel like walking back yet, so we decided to circle the lake, see if we could find anyone. That's when we saw it. An old cabin, sitting back in the trees like it had been waiting. It looked completely abandoned. Half the roof was caved in. One of the windows was shattered, and the wood had gone gray with rot. Obviously, we wanted to go inside. We stepped through the broken doorway, laughing too loudly, stomping up the creaky stairs like idiots. Upstairs, we found a small bedroom filled with dusty, forgotten junk. Torn-up furniture, an old coat hanger, stacks of brittle paper, a broken lantern in the corner. We started picking through everything like it was a museum, until, creak, the sound of the front door slowly opening downstairs. We froze, didn't say a word, just stared at each other wide-eyed. Then, footsteps, slow, heavy, and a voice. I know you're up there, low, rough, male, definitely an adult. Something about the way he said it made my whole body lock up. Like he wasn't trying to scare us. He was already past that point. Jacob moved first. He silently pointed toward a tiny closet in the corner of the room, no bigger than a pantry. We all squeezed in, packed so tight we could barely breathe. The footsteps got louder, boards groaning beneath his weight. Then he was in the room. I can hear you. He wasn't shouting, just speaking, calm and steady. That's what made it worse. Like he knew we were listening. He started moving things, tossing stuff aside, taking his time. Then we heard it. The closet knob turning. The door creaked open. For a second, everything stopped. Then Stephen lunged. He shoved the man hard, knocking him backward onto the floor. We didn't even look back. We ran, bolted, down the stairs, Through the broken doorway, into the woods. We didn't stop. Just ran blind through trees and branches, not caring where we were going, only that it was away. When we finally got back to Stephen's basement, we collapsed, hearts racing, hands shaking, trying to process what the hell just happened. Then, Stephen said something that stopped everything. When I shoved him, he dropped something. We turned to him. "A gun," he said. "A small handgun. Hit the floor when I pushed him." We sat in silence. No one said a word for what felt like hours. We didn't sleep that night, and we never went back to that lake. We never got a clear look at the man's face. Never figured out who he was, or how long he'd been there, or if he was waiting for us. The place was abandoned, no doubt, rotting and empty. So who was he? And what would have happened if Stephen hadn't pushed him? I still think about that.